Hello everyone, and welcome to my solo RPG journal. Today we are having a quick look at Shadowrun. So Shadowrun First Edition and Shadowrun Second Edition are both available in the same bundle on Bundle of Holding. So Bundle of Holding is a website, basically online stores, same kind of thing as Humble Bundle, but specifically for RPG products. They do every week or fortnight, they'll release a new bundle of different RPG products. And this time around, they've got Shadowrun, both first edition and second edition, in the same bundle. So you can go and get them over there if you're interested in looking at the history of the Shadowrun games. They've had now, I think, Shadowrun 1, 2, and they've had 5 and 6 in the past, so I'm only missing 3 and 4 at the time of recording. Though I hear when you talk to people online about which version of Shadowrun should you play, I think the answer is generally 3. Version 3, I think you hear some people saying 4, but when I was looking, 5th edition was the thing when I was looking, and everyone seemed to say Shadowrun 3. So that's the one I'm missing still. Anyway, so I've got both the PDFs up here, and we're going to have a bit of a quick look and maybe create a character. I'm not too sure yet. So let's just make this one full screen. This is the first edition. I'd have a quick look through just at the first few pages in character creation, see what's in the book. Got some cool art and information about what it is before we've got the table of contents, some information about the Sixth World and what's going on. Oh, game concepts, meta-humanity, character generation, info on how to use skills and actually play the game after that, info about magic and the Matrix, then equipment. After the Shadowrun, behind the scenes, information about Seattle, and maybe an example run, followed then by some, just information about what's going on, the setting. Here we go. Game concepts, rolling the dice. So this is the core thing about how you actually play the game. By a skill or attribute. Rule of 1, rule of 6. So if you roll a 1, you fail. On a 6, you roll the die again and add your result to the 6. A second 6 adds the first to become 12, and then you roll again. Oh, okay. So you can hit a target number. So does it say that you're rolling against a target number that isn't 4? Yes, by a target number. It doesn't say 4. So in the later editions of Shadowrun, it's always 4 or higher is success, and 3 or lower is a failure, with then rules for botching and something to happen on 6s. I think in Shadowrun later editions, I think they explode on, I think you re-roll them, and you get to potentially get extra successes. Whereas here it's you have a target number, and that target number doesn't have to be a 6. So, but in order to hit that, you would then have to roll a 6. Well, that's interesting. Roll a 6 and then roll again to add that to a 6 to get. Oh wow, okay. You can still do that with a pool, because if you get a number of 6s, you just re-roll those dice, and then they're all 6 plus whatever you've rolled. Okay. Success test versus resistance test. There are extra dice pools you can pull from. So that's pretty interesting. And then it goes into talk about characters, skills, magics, the Matrix. And then we get into METAHUMANITY. So if you're not familiar with Shadowrun is 2012, the Sixth World begins, and people start being born as elves or dwarves or humans. Most people are still human, or people go through goblinization around the same time as puberty, I think, and turn into orcs or trolls. So you end up with a futuristic cyberpunk setting with fantasy races and magic. So we've got some information about the dwarves. This is actually pretty cool. Dwarf is 1.2 meters tall and weighs 72 kilos. His skull has 32 teeth. Yeah, actual information. 1 young, 1 birth weight as a percentage of the mother's weight is 5.6. Suckling time is more than 15 months. Gestation period, 284 days. That's pretty cool. Elves, so elves are the other creature type. There was the elves and the dwarves, which slowly started coming about through births after 2012. Your parents would still be human, but with anyone going through puberty or over puberty after a certain year in 2012 went through goblinization to turn into an orc or a troll, if that was what was going to happen to them. Elves are 1.9 meters tall, 68 kilos. There you go. Young, usually 1, though twins are common. Gestation is 360 days, so a year. Humans, everything about your average Homo sapien. Homo sapiens sapien. Oh, okay. So we've got Homo sapiens pumilionis, Homo sapiens nobilis, Homo sapiens sapiens. Orcs are Homo sapiens robustus, and trolls are Homo sapiens ingentis. So that's pretty interesting. So character generation then goes through, you've got your attributes, which are body, quickness, and strength, charisma, intelligence, willpower, essence, magic, and reaction. Magic you only get if you are a mage. Reaction and essence. Everyone has 6 essence. If you get to 0 essence, you die. Essence is how human you are. Basically, by putting cyberware in, you lose essence and become more and more machine, less and less human. And if your essence falls to 0, then you die. Your attribute ratings have different maximums depending on what you have. Trolls can have up to 11 and 10 body, 11 body and 10 strength. There you go. So whereas humans are just maximum 6 across the board. However, when it says character generation, attribute ratings determine a character's physical and mental attributes by choosing an archetype, which fixes all attributes. Some attributes have a number in parentheses. So character creation in first edition isn't so much character creation as it is picking a template and moving on. So they've got skills, gear, basic information about these things. Generating characters. You can generate a character in 2 ways. By starting with a pre-generated archetype or by creating your own. Oh, you can create your own. Might be a good idea to use an existing archetype from those described in the next chapter until you become familiar with the game. To create a Shadowrun character, start with one of the classes presented in the archetypes chapter. This lets you get started right away. No fuss, no muss, right into the action. If you don't like the gender of the published archetype, change it. You're not required to play, say, a female rocker if you would rather play a male one. There is no need to change the numbers, just the pronouns. Eventually, you might become dissatisfied with the limited choice of published archetypes and might want to try something different. Or you might not agree with the kind of priorities and descriptions given to the character. Or you may just want to have a deck who is a real weenie but has a top-of-the-line cyber deck. Check out the archetype creation rules on page 53. Oh, so you still have to pick an archetype. You have to create an archetype first. So we've got a number of archetypes here, I guess. Templates for you to choose to: a burnt-out mage, a decker, a detective, an elven decker, a former company man, a former wage mage, a gang member, a merc, an orc mercenary, a rigger, a rocker, a shaman, a street mage, a street samurai, street shaman. I wonder if where some of these terms. I've heard that the terms have been wholesale taken from Neuromancer. A tribesman. Neuromancer is on my list of books to read, but I haven't gotten to it. So developing the character, skills, dice pools, astral pool, defense pool, dodge magic, hacking pool, magic pool, money, languages, condition monitors. Oh, allergies. That's kind of cool. Characters having allergies. That could be interesting. Substances, iron, plastic, silver, sunlight. Oh, okay. Severity. Yeah, okay. That could be very interesting. And here we go. Here's the archetype creation stuff. If you choose a metahuman to create an archetype, you must assign a priority from 0 to 4 in each of the 5 columns on the master table. All 5 priority levels, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, must be assigned. So here's this thing. If you've done character creation for Shadowrun before, it was like this in first edition. You have a table and you've got a priority. You've got priorities 1 to 5, or in this case, 0 to 4, because we can't start counting at 0. And you needed to pick a race, a tech level. Oh, this is your money. This is your starting money, I guess. Skill points, attribute points, and magic level. You need to pick. Assign a priority. Pick one of each of these things. So I could be, say, I want to be human. Then I would go priority 0 in this case. But I want to be a mage, so I go priority 4 magic. So I've used priority 0 and I've used priority 4, which means that for attributes, I have to choose from priorities 3, 2, and 1. I want a high number of attributes. So I'm going to pick 3 for attributes, so I can get 24 points. And then skills, I've then got priorities 1 and 2 to choose from. So I can either have 20 points to put into skills or 24 points to put into skills. So I'm going to put 20 points into skills so I can have 2,000 starting new yen /20, whatever that means. What's the slash mean? I'm looking at it. Says see above for notes on tech there. Oh, it just says that if you're magic, you get 1,500 new yen instead of 400,000 new yen. So I've got, if I'm doing it that way, then I've got 200,000 starting new yen, 20 points to spend in skills, 20 points to spend in attributes. I've got a magic of 6. Oh, it was 24 points to spend in attributes, 20 points to spend in skills. Yeah, because I was a human. Whereas if I wanted to be a metahuman, an elf or a dwarf or an orc or a troll and a mage, I would have to go priority 4 in metahuman, priority 3 in magic, and then I'd have priorities 1 to 0 to choose for the remaining attributes, skills, and tech. You then just go through and assign the points. So I've got where was the list of attributes? There's the 6 attributes that you put through: body, quickness, strength. Trying to remember what they were: charisma, intelligence, and willpower. So you then have to divide those points. So I've got this. Say I'm spending 24 points. I then assign those 24 points into those 6 attributes. Magic is 6 because I've chosen to be a mage. Otherwise, it's 0. It's 6 or 0. Essence is always 6, and the other one was made up of 2 others. Like it was your intelligence rating. It was like your willpower plus your strength rating or your body rating or something like that. I can't remember what the thing was. And then you do the same thing for skills. So you'd go through the skill list and choose 5 skills and assign the 20 points between them, or whatever it is that you're doing. Yeah, okay, so here we've got this target number. So it could have a target number of 8, which I can't roll on a d6, but if I roll enough, then I'll roll some 6s. I then re-roll those 6s, and I need to get a 2. On the die. Okay. Whereas then if I re-roll those 6s, if I've nearly impossible task, I then need to get a 4 to get a score of 10 on those re-rolled dice. Okay. That's an interesting way to do it. The other thing I've noticed, because I have had a quick look at this before recording, is that instead of adding your attributes to your skills like you do in later versions, you either roll your attributes or your skills. So if you need to make a strength test. We need to make a firearms test. I need to shoot someone, so I need to make a firearms test. If I've got the firearms skill, then I roll from that. I got firearms 5, so I roll 5 dice. Got firearms 3, so I roll 3 dice. But I don't have it. I've got quickness though. If I don't have it, maybe I've got gunnery. So I consult this chart and go, well, gunnery and firearms are similar. So I can get through it there through one step, going through one circle. So this is +2 to the difficulty. So say I had needed to roll a 4, well, now I need to roll 6s. Or if I needed to roll 6s, now I need to roll 8s. But if I don't have that, well, then I've got to go through 2 steps. So my difficulty of my target number of 4 becomes 6, 8 before it gets to quickness. Or 6, if I've got throwing, say, I could go 4, 6, 8 and get to throwing. But my quickness is more likely to be higher. So that's a thing. And the same then, say I need to roll computer, but I don't have computer. So I'm needing to get back to intelligence somehow. So intelligence goes here, computer theory. Yeah, so we've got computer to computer theory, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think. I'm not too sure. I'm not sure how these arrows work. I think you can travel. I'm not sure which direction you're traveling, if I'm traveling from computer to intelligence or intelligence to computer. But you have to follow the arrows, which makes me wonder if I can't roll back. When defaulting to an attribute, trace the path to where the attribute you want to use enters the skill web. Yeah, okay, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm wondering, maybe it was changed for a reason. Maybe they don't do it this way anymore for a reason, because, yeah, I want to roll computers. I need to make a computer roll, but I don't have computers. So, but maybe that makes sense in the 80s when, if you consider what the idea of what a computer was at the time, even though it's a thing that everyone's supposed to use these days, because it's a +2, +3, +4, +5, intelligences, sciences. So can I then take points in combat skills or in technical skills? Because then I could go 1 or biotech would be 2, or sciences. Yeah, okay. I'm sure I could answer these questions if I read the document properly. So that's Shadowrun First Edition. Shadowrun Second Edition is fairly similar. It is basically a update of the First Edition rules. So they've got the same sort of setting. We had some fiction followed by information about the world. Here is how dice rolls work, which is all the same information. A bit of information about that. And then we've got the information about metahumanity, and then creating a character. Now it does have here the archetypes, but it actually just goes here, building a character. You can use the archetypes, but this is how you do it. Allocating priorities. It's all here because they've obviously realized that people just want to make characters for themselves. And they've changed the priority table. So now priority A is the top and priority E is the bottom. So if I want to be an orc adept, I need a priority A in race, a priority C in magic, and then I can put priority B in attributes, priority D in skills, and priority E in resources, and then create a orc character who's good at beating people up with magic. The other cool thing that they've got here is 20 questions to ask about your character to flesh them out. So, this starts off simple. What's your character's sex? What is your character's physical size? Is the character tall, skinny dwarf, or a short, stout elf, or just average? What color is your character's hair, eyes, and skin? It's got some information there about that. It's got some information back as well with the meta type stuff about how that works. But basically, I think it looks like it can go any way. It's got the racial modification. Where I've gone, I'm not even in the right place. What is a character's general appearance? Do they dress anachronistically, stylishly, inauspiciously? Do they look intimidating or casual? Where were they born? Did they grow up in Seattle or one of the other places in the world? So in the game, if you look into the lore, a lot of places are the geopolitical landscape is very different. So the United States of America is no more, but there's the United Canadian and American UCAS, United Canadian and American States, I think. And then there's the United Confederate States, and then there's a bunch of other places. California went rogue. It is its own place, and different places around there. Lots of stuff. America's pretty well fleshed out. What is the character's age? How old are they? What was the character's family? Did the character's parents die? What was their means of support? What was your family like? Do you have siblings? Where are they now? Do you keep in contact with them? Has the character begun their own family? Are they married, divorced, separated? Do they have children? Do they want to have children? How and where were they educated? What did they get? What skills did they get? What kind of education did they get? Has the character done anything else for a living? Sure, the character is shadowrunning now, but what about before? Did the character ever earn money or make a living doing something legitimate? Did they enjoy it? Did the character stop? Why did the character stop doing it? Would they go back? What about the character's political and religious beliefs? Does the character have a moral code? Does the character have any goals? Why does the character run in the shadows? What is the character's personality? What qualities does the character possess? Certain things, are there certain things the character just cannot do? What does the character hate? What does the character love? And what is the character's name? So I think that these are very cool. I know that if you watched my Warhammer ones, they've got a few questions like this in there, and I didn't like them as much, and that's because you've got this incredibly detailed set world that gives you this sort of muted colored palette of things that you can use, and I don't understand what they are. You can of course do things outside of that, but there's some. If you have an understanding of the lore and everything, then that stuff is easier to work through. And I didn't feel like I was able to answer questions without that knowledge. Whereas Shadowrun, it's essentially just a cyberpunk thing. So think about, if you know a little bit about cyberpunk science fiction settings, then you pick up sort of what sort of themes and stuff are happening there, and I've got a better idea there about what how things work and what things work, and which makes them easy to answer, especially when Okay, where is the character born? That might be hard because what are the Nan tribal lands? But everything else here, has the character begun their own family? That's a really interesting question that I could answer for a character, because that's something I can make up myself as opposed to having to rely on knowledge from the lore. Whereas in Warhammer, oh, I had children, but they were taken away from me because they were discovered to have psychic abilities, and what's going on there? How does that work? And yeah, I don't know how that works in the lore. Whereas here, it's a lot less different to our own world, especially these days. But we don't need to sit here and talk about how was this science fiction or was it prophecy. Anyway, I'm not actually going to create a character this time around. Possibly I will, but this was very much a quick let's do a video because I saw that the deal was on and maybe people would be interested. I don't know how likely it is that you're going to get a game of this unless you decide, hey, friends, we are playing this game. I don't know how much people play these older rule sets, but at the moment, with it actually being out there, it might be a fun thing to do with your friends. So give it a look if you're interested, or give it a look if you're just interested in the lore and stuff. It gives you a look at to the beginnings of the whole thing. Anyway, I hope you found this interesting, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.